Calgary Flames have made a massive trade that has sent Andrei Kuzmenko and Jakob Pelletier, as well as some picks, to the Philadelphia Flyers in exchange for Morgan Frost and Joel Farabee. Early reactions say the Flames hit a home run with this trade. While many think this is a win-win trade, Flames general manager has revealed the truth behind making this insane deal. We're going to get into all of that and more in this video, but first I want to welcome you to Flames Digest. I'm Mark Griffith. If you're new around here and you love the Flames, make sure you subscribe so you can stay up to date on all the latest news, updates, reports, and rumors revolving around your Calgary Flames. We would love to welcome you to the Flames Digest family, especially at this time of year when all the trades are happening. Crazy that it's pretty much a year ago to the day that we have yet another Kuzmenko trade to talk about. But before we get into the truth about that entire ordeal, we need to talk about last night's game. Kind of thing that went under the radar through all the commotion of last night. But the Flames did have a game against the Anaheim Ducks, and it went swimmingly for the home team as the Flames captured a 4-1 win over the Ducks. Huge. The Flames needed to get back on track. They had to beat, a weaker opponent, a home game as well, a divisional opponent, and the Flames, this game actually mattered in the standings a lot as they once again went up on Vancouver. Now they are only a point behind the LA Kings. If we get into the box score here, so Dustin Wolf, he did get the win, had a great game, 31 saves on 32 shots against, just the one goal against for a .969 save percentage and the 1.02 goals against average. Fantastic start from him. He really did play well. Now, this was the box score, I guess we can say. It has officially actually been changed. So we all thought that we had a Matty Hattie. It was a great time. Everyone thought Coronato got his first career NHL hat trick, 3 goals. But it has actually since been changed. Now, I didn't grab a new screen grab of it, but Coronato's got changed to 2 goals and 1 assist, while Blake Coleman actually ended up getting a goal and 1 assist as well. Klapka did hit, don't worry, his goal stands for sure. What a beauty that was, the little dipsy-do around the goalie. Fantastic to see. Hanley being Pospisil getting on the score sheet as well, but I just wanted to clarify that we thought we had a Matty Hattie, a Matty Snipes, a Coronato hat trick, but it was just 2 goals and an assist. They even had him pose after the game with 3 pucks, and it ended up not counting as a hat trick. So that's a little bit of a shot to the heart, I guess we can say. But either way, we will take the win. And while the game was fantastic, we really need to talk about the trade once again, and we have to talk about the truth about this trade. So, in case you somehow missed it, this is the full official trade. So what did the Flames get? They get Joel Farabee and Morgan Frost, a couple of former first-round picks by the Flyers who, a shock to everyone, weren't able to really find their game too much under John Tortorella. I can't believe he still has a coaching gig in this league. Maybe I'm still salty about 04 and, the bench brawl, but hey, maybe he can find his way into the locker room this time. But the Flames did have to give up quite a bit. They gave up Jakob Pelletier, Andrei Kuzmenko, a 2025 second rounder, so a second rounder in this year's upcoming draft, and then a 2028 seventh rounder. Has there ever been a more irrelevant pick in a draft? A more irrelevant pick in a trade, I should say. That doesn't take anything away from whoever does get drafted 3 years from now. But it is interesting. So the Flames weren't the team who gained any picks, even though they are kind of in an asset grabbing mode. But this is still phenomenal asset management to, take a player who was on waivers a few months ago and trade him for value back. To trade a player who genuinely was never going to sign here, who was probably destined to go to the KHL and is still, I'd say a 50-50 chance that he does still go to the KHL this summer and grab value back is fantastic. The biggest thing the Flames gave up here is the second rounder, because as the Flames proved in the most recent draft, second rounders can be really, really good. But still, this is just a phenomenal trade. If we take a look at the roster players that were moved around. So the Flyers and Flames made a big Thursday night deal. So Jakob Pelletier is a 23-year-old left winger with 4 goals and 11 points in 24 games this season. He is a pending RFA with an $800K AAV. And again, it does sting to give him up. We wish him nothing but the best in Philadelphia. His bond with Huberdeau was so evident. He was finally finding his game. Just a fan favorite with the kissing of the helmet. minutes. He was just a phenomenal guy. The city loved him. The fans loved him. He loved the fans. He loved the city. It really is too bad to let him go. We were all terrified when he went on waivers, but still, to, have a player involved that was on waivers is just a great piece by Conroy, even though it does suck to lose him as a human. Same can be said about Kuzmenko. Nothing but wish him good luck over in Philly, and we can't thank him enough for his time as a Flame. There's the human side to these trades as well, but of course there's the business side. So Kuzmenko is a 28-year-old left winger with 4 goals and 15 points in 37 games this season. He's a pending UFA with a $5.5 million AAV, expensive guy, and the Flames didn't have to retain any salary, which is good because they obviously brought in more salary than they gave up, but still great. Having no retention on Kuzmenko is fantastic. What did the Flames get back? Well, of course, they get Morgan Frost, who is a 25-year-old center with 11 goals and 25 points. So already, he has almost as many points as Pelletier and Kuzmenko combined. Fantastic. In 48 games this season, he is a pending UFA with a $2.1 million AAV. You can maybe expect Frost to sign a deal in the next few days here. You would assume that was part of the deal, but we'll just have to wait and see. And then Joel Farabee, even younger. He's a 24-year-old left winger with 8 goals and 19 points in 49 games this season. He has 3 seasons after this one at $5 million, which a lot of people will think is expensive for a guy who, is on pace for not even 40 points this year. But don't worry, I think he was definitely just in the wrong system with Tortorella. Same can be said about Frost. As soon as Tortorella starts to not like a guy's play too much, he isn't going to get that much going. Hopefully both Frost and Farabee can really find their footing once again under Ryan Huska, and I have full faith that they will. So there you go. That's the trade. Let's get into some of the truth here about why Conroy made this trade specifically. So first thing that's very interesting to note is this came together pretty quick today. This is a quote from last night. This morning, to be honest, but we've talked about the players maybe even last year. That is from Conroy, which is pretty crazy. So obviously, Conroy had been talking about certain players. You would assume Kuzmenko and Pelletier were definitely involved, but both Frost and Farabee have been involved in talks for a long time as well. But this trade itself was spawned yesterday and ended yesterday. And I think it was really, it's too bad that Pelletier had to play yesterday and got yanked out of the game. Same can kind of be said about those Flyers, because that's just a bit of an inhuman way to go about a trade, is just, midway through a game saying, hey, look, you're gone. Maybe a little heads up would be nice. But again, it is a business. It is a business. That's what happens in the corporate world as well. But either way, very interesting to note that this was pretty quick. And look, Conroy's work was pretty good. We have many more quotes to go over. So he said, I think this fills a couple holes that I've been trying to find since the draft last year, and it hasn't been easy, smiled the Flames GM, looking relaxed and confident in his late night deal serves several purposes, and it truly does. Picking up both a young center and a young winger is fantastic. They've earned it. To give them a boost, a shot in the arm, we felt like these two players could do that, and they were at the right age. They're not 33, 34-year-old players, but 24 and 25-year-old guys that we can grow with, and that's always been the plan. Conroy has stuck to the ploy, and it is sincerely going to plan. So he's saying that the players this year have earned that little boost that will hopefully help them propel them to the playoffs, and who knows, could really go on a little run here with some good players that are here for the future. It's all going according to plan in Conroy. We trust. Here's what he had to say about Pelletier. He was emotional. I was emotional for him, said Conroy, of the popular winger who loved his team, the city, and spoke often of his excitement surrounding the possibility of staying here well past the opening of the new arena. I know what it's like to be sitting on that other side. It's not easy. Unfortunately, to get players, you have to give up players, and that's what we had to do with this deal. So true. Again, that shows the human side of it, but Conroy, he's a general manager. He knows what he's doing, and he's been there before as a player. We've seen it, of course, and so it does suck to lose Pelletier, but again, it's all part of it. So both Frost and Farabee are expected to be in the Flames lineup Saturday when they host Detroit. That'll be super fun. It's always so neat to see, a couple players come play their first games on a new team. I remember back in the day when we made that huge trade to acquire, guys like Nick Hagman and Freddie Sjustrom. I was at the Dome, and it was just crazy to see. But either way, which of course is the Phaneuf trade. But either way, it should be very, very fun to see them, of course. Now, One more quote, and this comes from Huska, Flames head coach. He said, I feel like these players coming in are going to help us this year for one, but they also fit the wheelhouse for what we're trying to do, said Ryan Huska, who said he had a rough idea of how they'll slot into his line. So I'm sure Huska and Conroy have been in each other's ears talking about these guys already. And Huska, I mean, I'm sure he's totally pulling to make the playoffs this year and wanted these guys as well. For me, I think the players did this. They put themselves in a position where you want to see your GM help you out if he can. And I think because of the way our guys have competed this year and played, they kind of earned the opportunity to have Craig act. And boy, did he pull through. The players this year have been surprising everyone. They really have just been a shock to the entire hockey community at how well they're playing, and they have been rewarded for it. The coach knows it, the general manager knows it, and the players know it. Expect a very aggressive playoff push here, and it'll be very exciting to see what the Flames do heading into the trade deadline, because especially they could go after a D-man, because we have another injury update revolving around Kevin Ball. It's not ideal, but it actually doesn't change too much in a way, and it's another thing that was completely, here's a great tweet here from Ryan Pike. He said, missed in all the hubbub, the Flames have placed defenseman Kevin Ball on injury reserve per the media portal. That placement opens a roster spot up in case the club needs it. That's the only reason why he has been put on IR instead of just being labeled week to week, as Ball was announced as week to week by head coach Ryan Huska. This wouldn't change that timeline at all. He's still on the same timeline. It's not like his injury has been labeled as more severe and the recovery time will be any longer. It's just that the Flames can bring in another player now if they need be. They have that other roster spot. But as a lot of people are saying right now, maybe the Flames will go after a defenseman who can kind of come in and replace Ball, or at least be part of the system and help the Flames make that push towards the postseason. Now let's wrap up this video with the comment of the day, as we love to do here on the channel. There were a million to choose from the first video about the trade, of course, but I really liked this one here from David. David said, at the beginning of the season, we could have lost Pelletier on waivers for nothing. At the end of the season, Kuzmenko is likely headed to the KHL, so also technically losing him for nothing. The Flames got 2 roster players for what they gave up, and not just any roster players, former first rounders that still have so much upside. Good asset management. Couldn't agree with you more there, David. I know not everyone is going to agree on the trade. Some people will say, well, we didn't get a right shot center, or a lot of fans will say, how did the Flames win this trade when they gave up a second rounder, and so many, and so on and so forth. Great asset management at the end of the day by Conroy. We absolutely love it as Flames fans. There's your truth for this trade. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please subscribe and like what you saw here today, and have a wonderful rest of your day.